what not to fix when you're getting ready to sell your house. Let's talk about that. Before we dive into the areas that you really don't need to bother to fix when you're getting your house ready to sell, let me mention that we offer our sellers several programs that they can choose from. That is why it is key that you find a good real estate agent in your area that offers several programs. That way, as a seller, you can choose to make the best decision that fits either your budget or your time frame, or even how much money you want to get out of your house. For example, when we moved from Texas to Georgia, we decided to upgrade our house. We upgraded our kitchen to granite countertops, and we changed out some of the fixtures so that they were more modern. And we did this because I knew as a real estate agent, we were going to go be competing up against new construction and other homes that had been updated. And if I wanted to get the most amount of money out of our home, we needed to do these upgrades. So we chose to go through that hassle before we got ready to list our home. We offer a program that is called Ready to Sell that can help you do this very thing. We can go out and get the contractors to come in and do the work through this Ready to Sell program. The beautiful thing about this program is that you do not pay for all of that until closing time. So that's really nice. You don't have to put the money up front to get those things fixed, and then you pay through your equity at your closing. Now, if you're like, I don't want to spend any time going through any updates, another thing that we can offer is an inspiration board. So if we know that we have wonderful cabinets and countertops, but they might be a tick outdated, we can actually do an inspiration board and place that into the kitchen so that potential buyers coming through can get inspired to see the potential in the home. So that's another thing that we offer, as well as staging services. So if you need help in those areas, let us know. We'll be glad to help you out if you're in the greater Atlanta area. Now, let's get into some of the things that you don't need to worry with when you're getting ready to list your home. The first thing I would say is cosmetic flaws. When you are selling your house and it's a resale, there's going to be some natural wear and tear on the house. So if you have a cracked tile or maybe a scratch on the floor, and if your paint is in decent condition, but maybe there's a splotch here and there, those kind of cosmetic things, you really don't have to come in and try to fix all those things up to make it presentable. Now, I'm not saying that paint's not important. It can be important if you have a very vivid color and you want to neutralize it a little bit more to make the room more appealing. That's key. But if it's just a little mark on the wall here and there, I tell people not to freak out about those things. And so cosmetic, people kind of expect when they're getting ready to buy a home that somebody's lived in that there's going to be a little bit of wear and tear to it. Cracks in the driveway, cracks on the sidewalk, cracks in the garage. If you're in a basement, cracks on the basement. Guess what? Concrete cracks. And unless it's a major deal because you've got roots coming up through your concrete, then really fixing the cracks or taking out the entire driveway is really not something that is a must-have or a must-do. So I don't worry about cracks. Now, they will say that you can seal those cracks, because especially if it's in a driveway or in a walkway area, if you go and take the trouble to put some of that sealant in those cracks, it could prevent water from getting down there and making the concrete move and break up further. However, that's not something that you need to rush out and go do if you've got other things that are more important on your checklist. Building code violations. And when you have an inspection, an inspector is going to notate any building code violations. Well, guess what? The building codes can change yearly. And as you go through time and your house gets older, there's going to be things that don't meet current building codes. That does not mean that they're not functioning or that they need to be fixed. So a few examples on those, like we mentioned earlier, those GFCIs, where if water gets near those plugs, it shuts off the circuit. If your house was built in the 80s, They may not be located in the garage or around where your washing machine is, or even in the kitchen. So you don't feel compelled to update those areas if you know, it doesn't meet current building code. Another building code violation you may see is banisters. Sometimes the banisters in homes that are older are further apart, and kids stuck their heads through the banister, and so then they updated the building code so that those banisters are closer together. That doesn't mean you need to go through the house and fix all the banisters to make them up to building code. So little things like that, your house most likely is grandfathered in with those building codes, and you do not need to worry with them. Partially updated rooms. So sometimes we see this. If you're not going to take the time and effort to upgrade the entire room, then don't even bother. And what I'm saying is you'll see somebody come in and update maybe a vanity, but they won't bother to replace the old flooring. Or you'll see somebody just come in and slap granite countertops in on top of the kitchen, but then they don't update the cabinets, and the cabinets look really, really dated. So if you're not going to put all effort into it, don't do it partially. It's not worth it. Let's talk about window treatments. You may have some really dark window treatments that really make the room look dark, or some that are outdated. And quite frankly, it's best to take them down and just get rid of them and don't replace them. Replacing window treatments can be super costly, and you actually might choose some window treatments that doesn't match the decor that the buyer has, and then you wasted all that money on window treatments and you simply will not get your return out of them. It's best to just take them off, patch up the walls, and leave the windows bare. Old appliances. Now, sometimes we run up against some homes that have mismatched appliances. And if they're functioning, well, you really don't have to replace them all and make them match. I have seen houses that haven't matched, and really a buyer, if they really want to make it all match, they tend to come in and replace them. Now, if they're not functioning, then obviously you need to replace them, but the better bet might be to go buy a used appliance that is functioning rather than brand new. And if you do have to come in and do brand new appliances, you do not have to go high end. As long as they all match, and quite frankly, you all don't have to have the same brand name either. So really kind of being smart about the appliances and determining if it's something that you really need to replace. See if you can go something that's used, and if you're buying new, make it to where it is on the lower end of things, because you don't have to spend a fortune on appliances to get a house sold. The bottom line is, when you're getting ready to sell a house, is you're not seeking perfection. You're seeking to show the potential in the home. It does not have to be like a showroom, builder model ready. Now, it is good to declutter and stage where it's necessary, because as I always say, less is more. And really getting with a professional real estate agent to get a plan around this. Do you want to make the upgrades? Don't you want to make the upgrades? If you choose not to do the upgrades, how can you utilize staging? And like I mentioned before, the boards that we can create to show the room's potential. Those things is how you can get a plan around so that you can get your house ready to go on the market and get it sold and on to your next adventure. I hope this was helpful for you, and if you need help in the greater Atlanta area, let us know. Contact us and we'll be glad to help you get your house ready to sell. See you later. Bye. Do you want to know more about real estate? Be sure to watch this next video, and don't forget to subscribe. That way you'll know when I drop my next video.